Venom does nothing now,
Yeah.
basically, unless you're going to play it in the mid lane, which you don't want to do against a puck. Like a Venom mid is basically purely just to counter, I don't know, like maybe a Kunkka, maybe a
10
TA,
seconds
but
remaining.
not in this offlane role. And I mean, you've already
5
picked the Phoenix
seconds
Knicks, so it
remaining.
kind of feels like the Veno is purely going to be offlane. So far, this is a pretty big draft victory for
Dire
Southfield.
team pick.
Admiral Kunkka.
So you talk about him and he just arrives, you know?
Well, so we've seen the Conquer a couple times so far in the round robin against the puck as well. I think we saw Fearless played a couple times, and it's got a
10
great lane,
seconds
very
remaining.
low armor for the puck. The control's nice. Phase shift is always going to be a bit of a
5
nuisance here, but
seconds remaining.
it's just an extra way to also kite the Ursa. It doesn't give you that like instant jump burst potential like you were kind of maybe needing for like a Storm Spirit or one of the spirits to get on the Oracle though. So I feel like this game,
Dire team
we
back.
already see the importance of the Oracle with being able to really enable the Ursa to not get kited, and now you go for a Conquer that really doesn't fix that issue.
Or hell, even the puck, right, in a team fight. You're going to do fine in the laning stage, but when it does get into the 20-minute mark of the game, what are you going to do against this puck? Like, how are you going to lock him
10
down?
seconds
Phoenix
remaining.
isn't going to do it. Veno's not going to do it. Nyx needs to have perfect positioning, which, you know,
5
he's a
seconds
good Nyx
remaining.
assassin, but it's going to be hard for him. So, laning stage might go all right for, well, you would assume Sanctity is going to be playing this Gunker, but
Radiant
beyond
team
that,
ban.
feeling a lot less confident. And now they pick the Clockwork, so you're just able to get in onto those back lines, right onto the Phoenix, able to quickly deal with the Sunray, and you know, even force out perhaps an earlier dive than you might like.
Dire team ban.
See now, are we both in the same boat that now we're pretty confident it's going to be Abarth playing the Ursa because they protect it with the Oracle for that lane?
Yeah, I mean, it's just free basically. They let everything slide on through. They were thinking more about the aggressive side of things, which you know makes sense. Hell, even
10 seconds remaining.
the Grimstroke could be seen to be as a bit of a
Radiant
defensive thing once it
team
gets to the
ban.
20-minute mark, but you're not really worried about that aspect of it in the lane, which is when the Venomancer is trying to shine here. So yeah, I would say Ursa's totally fine now to be in that position one role. Even against the Conquer, you know, it's a good amount of damage.
So we are
10
looking
seconds
for
remaining.
our 1, 2, 3
Dire
hero
team
and
pick.
also our N Ryu hero. What do we feel like Southfield need to outround the draft for their offlaner?
Got a good amount of control. They are lacking damage. That's the thing for mine. So high damage offlaners. If you can play a Chaos Knight, it would be quite nice this game.
Seems like damage
10
and a bit of wave
seconds
clear
remaining.
too. Like Clock and Oracle can't do that.
Yeah, Puck's great at it though.
5
Yeah,
So
very much so.
remaining.
and Bob's never lacking in the wave clear aspect for sure. I still think the CK is fine.
We've really only seen it's been SMG that have
Radiant
prioritized it a little
team
bit
pick.
for mid one's carry, but then also Galaxy Racer when Miz was played in the offlane. No one else has really put as much priority on it, and it's actually going to be a Pugna getting picked up, which gives you do very much lack taking towers
10
with your Ursa
seconds
Puck
remaining.
core duo. So with the Pugna getting picked up, you've also got
5
the Oracle,
seconds
which feels
remaining.
nice for the Pugna. Like he's really never going to get bursted down and can definitely turn and get a lot of your health back. But I feel like they've got, I don't know if Pugna can survive versus a Nyx Conquer.
No, it's going to be a little hard for him. His positioning is going to be quite important. And again, another issue of who is actually going in onto the front lines. I suppose you've got a Clockwork, so a lot of trust is going to be given over to Samael to make sure that he's able to take some attention away from the rest of the team. But you know, if you're hookshotting in to be able to start these fights, I know Bob's capable of doing it as well. Then who's actually going to deal with this Phoenix? You don't have any other way to get in onto you know, the hero that's going to be sustaining your lineup for the rest of the team fight. At least you've got the Pugna, so you know you can go a bit more of that field medic style. I actually played a pub a few weeks ago where I went double Tranquil Boots Pugna just for that pure regen, and it's like 26 regen that you get, and it
Double
was just, you know,
shrinks.
bit of HP for you, did a bit of HP for you. We won, so it wasn't a grief. And
Where'd you craft that concoction up of thinking about going double tranks?
just in the old noodle, you know, that's all you need.
Anti-mage.
Choose your hero.
This is Quite
good AM game.
Yeah, this is quite the AM game. I think you have to lane. I think you might consider laning Ursa versus AM now,
Yep.
but
They could do a lane swap. I mean, Abart's gone and picked it up. I'm keen to see how Abart takes the reins and runs with it, basically. Because with Marb, it felt like there were a few times that South Built set them up a pretty good early game, but nothing happened beyond that. So with Abart, he's obviously a bit more experienced. He's played with this team before. They've got the chemistry. Not sure what was going on in those first 4 or so days of the tournament, but he's back now. They can hopefully get at least a win on the board going into the playoffs and look to ramp up the competitiveness.
yeah, hopefully with their last couple of series, they can build on that momentum. What do they got? They have another series, versus Motivate. So that's not too
It's a
fun.
test.
Yep, that's definitely quite the test if we want to say it like that. So how do we feel about heading into this though? Like the last pick Anti-Mage looks like it's got a really good draft to be enabled, but I feel like it comes down to Southport having to ramp up the pressure. Do you feel kind of the same?
You can, and I suppose the Pugner's good at that. You're going to be able to take some towers, which is good. Are they going to be able to take them quickly enough? Not as confident. I felt like it was a very big draft victory to South Build after the first 3 or so picks, but they've definitely been able to bring it back, Lilgun, here with this anti-mage. So I don't know, feeling in two minds about all of this. I mean, I always talk about the supports. I am support main, but more than ever, it's going to be super important that Zenki isn't out of position too many times, because this anti-mage, he's going to be hunting for him as soon as these team fights start. So, you might even get caught out at the first team fight that AM actually joins, right? Because he's going to need at least 2 items before he's looking to join any kind of engagement.
Yeah, and I feel like this is going to be... again, I don't know what is going on with the bar, and with this roster as well. But I feel like coming back, I feel like this is going to be a statement game for him. Like, again, I don't really know the storyline behind what's going on, but I feel like, you were with this team through lower division. You didn't play the first 5 series with them. Your team's now 0-10, has not won a map at all. And I feel like coming back, I think this is going to be a very big statement game for a bot, and if you can kind of will them into some games.
Pretty damn deep here.
Yeah, they don't really have stuns right now, so Enryu... Well, there's a stun from Hishki. Get the connection, and Enryu, they're targeting away Marvel. Can Enryu stay alive long enough for the first blood to be picked up on South Build? And unfortunately, he cannot. So first blood, who other than Sanctity is going to be the one to pick that up. So we've seen Sanctity absolutely maul on other teams and carry games, and with a start like that, he could be well on his way to do the same thing.
Good play by Marvel as well, realizing that, well, a Pugner's probably not going to be in here on my own. He made sure to hold his Venomous Gale until he saw that the Oracle Fortune's End had been used, so they had no way to remove that. It was a very easy job just to chase down that Pugner, who normally is going to be able to outrun basically everyone at the 1 minute mark. So with that Gale available to use, they were able to get the first blood, even if it cost Marvel its life. Well worth it.
Now, how do we feel about these lanes so far? We've seen mid previously with the Conquer and the Puck, so we feel like this is going to be more Sanctity favored for the early couple levels here.
Yeah, for sure. And, very mechanically skilled as well, just being able to get that cheeky torrent off to make sure he's securing the range creep. That first blood as well is going to swing things even further into his favor. So obviously going that Bracer build that we've come to know and love so far throughout the BDS Pro Series 6. Already having 1 flying out to him now.
Yeah, we'll see how comfortable that lane is able to get for himself. And then, well, down bot, we've got... So there is no lane swap up here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 on the Anti-Mage and is duo Ace 12 on the Phoenix. How is this going to match up into the offlane Pugner that we don't see so often?
I mean, he's going to be much happier with like, how are you going to close the space onto the Pugner is my big question, right? Like, he's going to be constantly shoving the wave underneath the tower, using the Nether Blast so that the anti-mage can't make these aggressive movements in onto him. And then, even if they do, like if Phoenix is trying to move forward, you've got that clockwork there that's just going to be able to back you up. He's only got the power cogs, though, in lane, so that's going to be a little bit annoying for stopping some of this aggression. But as soon as he hits level 2, South Mid will be just fine.
Sanctity.
Step lively now.
Solo kills off Bob.
It's the power of the Bracer. You know, he's already got one picked up with that kill and a couple more creeps as well. He's going to be able to pick up the bottle.
Middle tower
Going
is under
well.
attack.
You're a trusty maid.
It's going very well here for the Conquer. Let's get the room. Bob will snatch it. I feel like Bob might take a lot of damage here though. But up the top, this is the last lane we haven't looked at so far.
Step
About
lively
coming
now.
back into
Your
the team.
admiral is on board.
We paired up with Zenki, which Zenki looks like he needs a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I mean, they're just having a quick pause here. But he's doing a good job. You know, he obviously wants to be constantly harassing out this Venomancer as much as possible. Mobility is really important. You know, the Oracle, sure, you can get rid of the Fortune's End that the Venomancer might put onto you if you're looking to chase you down, but you're still going to have that poison sting ticking on you. So the movement speed from the boots of speed is going to be needed really early on to make sure that you're trying to bully out, especially this Nyx Assassin. Bob's been able to secure both water runes, which is nice, after a pretty horrible start to the laning stage. Not all his fault, though. He wasn't the one that gave up the first blood.
Unfortunate that he's got to now take the hit for Sanctity getting that first blood. I guess it's still his fault of getting solo killed, but she had a unfortunate that, you know, your teammates is like, you know, Bob, we're just gonna make the puck game a little bit harder. We've seen what you can do on it, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you now.
I mean, when you think of heroes of, I'm going to put them in on the front lines at a 1v1, a 1 minute engagement at the levels 0 minute bounty runes, Pugner is not the hero that you think of for that. Like, very low armor, low HP at level 1. He's built it up a little bit now, but I don't know, especially when you've got that Nether Blast that you're going to need for the laning stage. It's not like you've even got any kind of survivability, so bit of an odd decision for Enryu to be the one to put himself in that space. Well, we can see Bob, he's already level 5. Sorry, going up against Sanctity's level 5.
Thanks, guys. Thanks
Step
a lot.
lively now. Your admiral is...
Doing a good job, though, to dodge out a lot of these Tidebringer hits. Made sure to get off the denies so that Bob wasn't able to get the cleave onto him. Then he phase shifts the next one. So he's doing a lot with the not so great hand that has been dealt.
Oh, AM? 1, 2, 3 out of full? No, okay. Do see that Enryu is pushing out a lot of harassment in this lane, and I didn't think it would be this bad for the anti-mage right now, but you see that Enryu is have his number. It's only 17 last hits compared to the 25 and 10.
And I'm really surprised that this has been the case, considering, like I mentioned before, the Clockwork was forced to go into the point of the power cock super early on so that they could get that first blood. You know, that's, in my mind, that's just an invitation to say, look, let's get really aggressive against this Pugner. What are they going to do? Even doing nice jobs there to pump fake your Nether Blast, so the anti-mage uses a bit earlier blink. He's been forced to go the 1 point into the counter spell just for that little bit of extra magic resistance. And Ace, is he going to be okay? I think so. Be forced to TP though. Unless he goes and denies himself to the tier 2 tower just for that XP. I think that might be the case.
Top lane, Marvel. It's actually going to end up falling. And they can definitely man-fight Hishki right now. Through his swipes.
10 one charges.
Up to 5 stacks here. So a Bart's going to be hitting really hard, but Hishki is actually able to turn the help of the regen and also the infused range ups as well. So Hishki wins out of that man fight. We're seeing another kill as well across the map as Enryu picks up a big one onto the anti-mage.
Ishiki kept chasing. I'm not sure about his decision to actually right-click the Oracle because he just had the Tranquil Boots delivered in onto him. If he just kept waiting for a little bit, he would have been a little healthier, had the extra movement speed just to make sure he didn't get away from that gank. But, I mean, that's just a case of a Bart diving into a full creep wave, and it's only 6 minutes in. You can't afford to be doing that. It's just going to cost you.
See,
Bob's been able to recover somewhat. A little careful here though. Ends up popping the Dream Call and oh, there's that snap. But
Torrent, oh my. I was worried that Bob would have actually moved on forward a little bit more and got clipped by the Torrent. Sanctity is pretty goddamn tanky. Double bracer. Great use of the defensive Fate's
Step
Edict.
lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bob was nearly in a position to die there though. He's very lucky that he made sure to immediately right click after he used the Dream Coil, just so that the snap with the spike carapace couldn't be used to kill him.
We are starting to get a couple more levels in this Pugner as well. So I would not be surprised when Bob thinks about making the rotation. Honestly, even a bot too. Like if a bot wants to think about coming down bot, because he's definitely going to have a lot earlier of a power spike where he can kind of help bully the anti-mage out of the lane. And if they can then get that tower, then it would really make AM's game incredibly difficult, knowing that he has to then fall back and maybe get a little bit of farm in the jungle where he cannot do that at a fast rate.
No, you know, you've got no farming steroids either on your team. It's going to be just space that you're trying to create, but if you're bullied out of the main safe lane that you've got at the very beginning of the game, things are going to be rough for you. And, you know, you talk about the pressure that South Build are going to need to ramp up. They're going to get a kill onto Marvel with the rotation through from Bob, not even needing to use the Dream Coil, so nicely done there. And Bart, he's going to go into that Flavor of the Month Ursa style, where he's getting the Diffusal Blade super early on, so much more able to take team fights. It's going to be nice against the Conquer.
Samael will fall, and Ryu as well. There's no X, they need the body blocks, 1, 2, 3. Still doesn't have the mana void, so they can't dish out that big ulti to try and get the kill on the Pugnup. Oh, just sidesteps. Nice use of the Tidebringer. Even better from Sanctity. 3-0-1 killing spree for your Conquer. He's still in trouble though. Bob cancels the TP with the coil. Doesn't have that run buff anymore, so Bob's going to be able to get a big pick off. He himself has also got a killing spree.
Doing real nice here is Bob, but the other things there are going to be able to chase this down. Actually diving in is 1, 2, 3. He's got the mana void available, but Bob's still relatively healthy on the mana front. Have to be careful about how deep in you're going to try and go for this kill, Bob, because that blink was kept available by 1, 2, 3. He was hungry. He could sense it. But Bob not wanting to give up his life after getting such a key pick off onto the Conquer.
You know, we've always been saying that Bob feels like he never knows how to relieve the pressure. It's just like, even then you could see kind of how against the playstyle it felt. Like he really wanted to keep inching forward to get that Phoenix, but it just unfortunately couldn't get that last catch at the end there.
I wonder if anyone's going to join Hishki in this mid lane now. He's going to go for the kill attempt on Bob, maybe hoping that he was off shopping for something, you know, wasn't completely on his character at the time, but Bob, quick fingers as ever, able to get the phase shift off to dodge out the stun coming through. And, you know, we talked about how this Venomancer matchup, as long as you get an Oracle or some sort of way to purge the debuffs on you, then you're not really caring all that much, and you can see how much it's affected Marvel's farm. He's very much below the rest of the cores. More than half of what a bot has.
Hishki will get to back up. Okay, still falls from Zenki's Purifying Flames. Zenki level 6 at the early stage in this game. And they even have the +1 effect to Bob coming over. It seems like he's everywhere at the moment here on this puck. Just making some incredible movements through the early game to help out Southbrook from being able to continue to grow this net worth lead. They're fine too. They're looking for another one, but being able to catch the Venomancer is a bit too difficult here.
Yeah, and even just missing the use of that Venomous Gale as well. not so ideal, and well, that's the advantage that you have when you've got a bunch of deep wards up like this. They scouted out perfectly his movements at all stages. I'm trying to go into a Bart here with Hishki. Is it going to be enough though?
Rage still
Got the enrage available. Oh, misses the... Just not in position. That was basically a guaranteed kill. Oracle wasn't in position just yet to be able to catch him up. All they needed was a couple of right clicks. Well, I'm not sure how confident you could feel going for these creep camps as the Ursa. He's got the Earth Shock maxed out, of course, just wanting that mobility for the laning stage, but no farming steroids just yet. Low mana, especially, might make things a little bit more difficult for him.
We do see, I mean, early on, what a difference this game is. 3,000 net worth lead here for Southbill. It definitely hasn't felt like they've been doing bad in the lanes in their previous games, but they haven't really been able to transition that into making a lot of these aggressive moves across the map. But they seem in sync all of a sudden. Top lane, oh, they need that help of Enryu. Maybe that little bit of extra burst for the Nyx Assassin, and it will be there. Bob, this is getting very, very reminiscent of when we saw him pop off on his puck recently.
Yeah, for sure. 6-1-1, giving up that early lane kill, but since then, it's all been positive for him. Samael might be a little bit of trouble here. You've still got the Mana Void. I'm sure 1-2-3 is going to maybe look to try and steal that with it. Oh,
Drop it!
Oh, the false promise.
Great use. See, maybe. Come back so I can use the heals. He's going to live. Oh, wow. Okay. But he's kind of been disowned from the rest of the team. And they're going to be able to bring him down here. So Bart, that's his second death of the game. Just getting a bit caught out without the Oracle there. Maybe the communication and not recognizing that kind of Zenki had to stay on top of the clockwork so he could keep the heals going. And this is going to give Lilgun a good opportunity here to take this tier 1 tower.
They do. I'm a little, like, Enryu is really farmed on this Pugna right now. He's got the Fairy's Trinket, he's got the Void Stone, so constantly going to be able to keep people healthy in these team fights. Of course, a lot of tower threat potential. They've already taken the tier 1 bot. I'm not sure what the Gloves of Haste are for. He's had them for a while now, before he even picked up the 8th lanes. Just as far as being able to trade against the anti-mage in the lane, considering Ace wasn't that aggressive with his posturing in the laning stage. It felt like maybe he could have used a bit more of his own regen. You can see he's still holding on to 2 tangos, just to be able to make life a bit easier for the AM, who he's suffering. You know, he's sitting 5th on the net worth. Speaking of Enryu, oh, actually it's Samael in this clockwork. He should still die.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. At least he got the kill still without having to use the Mana Void. We always see like the AM just needs that little influx of gold on these kills just to get closer to a decent Battle Fury timing, which honestly... Oh, X, bit too late. Honestly, the Battle Fury time is going to be pretty decent here nonetheless though for 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's going to be alright. It's not naked, he's got the power treads at least, I suppose. Not too often that you see an Oracle pick up an Urn of Shadows, though. Very interesting build coming through from Zenki, especially since you've already got the clockwork.
They're going to be able to catch out the Pugna here. Great 2-man stun, actually, finding Bob, but the extra lockdown is not available in the toolkit, so they recognize that you can't catch up to Bob's puck. They're just going to try and turn and get the easiest support target on Zenki. So they're going to end up losing 2 here on Dire. Bob actually wants to go back in with all the space that Zenki's made thanks to the false promise. But now Bob's going to get caught out. Phase shift still available. Hookshot on the backline. Samael wants to really try and protect the Bob puck, but is that space going to be enough? It looks like it is. Bob's up on the high ground Sanctity. He's dropping the sprays, but I mean, it's not easy enough if you can't find the puck.
I was kind of surprised. I was thinking, really, Clockwork? That's the one that you want to go for? Get the Venomancer instead of save your puck? But, well, Bob, he's high enough level that he's able to have those relatively low cooldowns. Phase shift nearly level 4 as well. So he's having the time of his life. Not even wanting to put the extra point into the Dream Coil. That's not what his concern is right now. These team fight lockdowns and these pickoffs. He's just trying to move Lilgun around the map as much as possible. And then hopefully try and find an avenue for this anti-mage to get ganked. Speaking of, he does have the Battle Fury. He's farming up an Ancient stack. He's doing just fine.
Well, this is where we're really going to start to see the anti-mage flash farm here with this item. But how can Dire deal with the anti-mage? Do you think they have a lineup that is able to find him easily with pickoffs, or do they need to kind of force engagements instead?
Roche attempt, that's going to make things a lot easier, having the luxury of the double life coming through. Don't exactly have amazing scouting potential. As a Venomancer, you might occasionally drop a Plague Ward into the Roche pit. Enryu, it's a risky place to be as this Pugner, but it's where you need to be able to scout out the fact that this isn't going on. And Ace, he's nearby. Kind of odd that you can't hear Roche slamming into the ground, but
I thought he even might have seen that Earth Shock, like some of the particles may have gone out of the pit, but he didn't react to it, so guess not. And Ryu, he's getting stalked. Tishki, great use of the Carapace setup. So a lot of bursts here from the Nyx Assassin when we're able to get on top of someone like a Pugner with all that intel. The Mana Burn's just able to rip you apart. Bob as well, he's in trouble. They've got a lot of damage over time on top of him. TP's available, needs to come back to Zenki so he can get the purge, and looks like Bob should be okay. What? Bob's a madman!
He's just going back in, he's like,
wait, I think he's dead.
Nah.
Fire Spirit? Okay, Jesus, Bob, please stop giving me a heart attack.
Hawks love playing against Venomancers. Like, you just don't do anything. You go back into the phase shift every single time. Look at that, 3.25 second duration. It says 4.2 second now cooldown, but that's because he's got an arcane rune. But still, tons of time where all of this damage over time really isn't going to impact you too much. And it just doubled up on that with the Phoenix.
He just gets a kill. Oh, did he miss? Okay, blink up.
Yeah, uphill miss. Again, even with Marvel, right? He puts the Urn of Shadows onto the puck. He's like, okay.
Menace.
Like,
Kill him! He just missed another stun TPR. Okay, thank you. They actually get him this time. Maybe Zenki's got the ultimate. Please tell me he doesn't blink away. Bob!
Avoid body blocks.
Get the ulti. He's hunting. Phase shift, he needs to dodge the impale. Nice timing, he's got waning roof. This is the stun Carapace. Okay, finally. Bob is, he's making them work for it. Hook in.
What a madman.
Now they're on Phoenix.
Just keep to continue with this. The Gloves of Haste are going to come in handy for Enryu to be able to take that one out.
That's what he was going for. Gloves of Haste to help deal with the Supernova. So Mail will end up falling. So they do get a couple kills back their way here for Lilgun. And meanwhile, it's also some space for 123, who's now second in the net worth.
Well, like, the thing about Bob going for all these super deep dives, they're important, of course, and you can't really fault the Oracle for it, because if you go the same area, you're just going to die. But I don't think he's gotten any of these Urn of Shadows ticks up because of it. Like, it's really important for an Oracle because of, actually going to catch out Zenki. Speaking of, just walking up on into his jungle, I suppose he felt safe. Even that one didn't get the Urn charge. He'll try and be here for the Venom. Alright, two charges.
Sanctity. Hookshot's gonna be on point here. Cogs push away, very nicely done. Southpool, they bring the reinforcements to be able to protect Zenki's Oracle. And now those three pickoffs, they should be able to lead this into the tier 1 tower in the middle lane.
They should. Enryu's go on top though. I feel like you're lacking a good amount of tower push when your Pugner's not there. The farm needs to be taken for sure, but I feel like that mid tier 1 tower is a little bit more important. And it might cost Bob, maybe not his full life, but the Aegis could go down if they make a heavy rotation into this mid lane, as they're looking to do.
Radiant, are they in fighting shape at the moment with the Supernova on cooldown? Well, Hishki thinks so. Same with Marvel. They're a bit disconnected right now on Southville, and they're going to get punished here. That tier 1 tower giving Lilgun the opportunity to be able to TP in onto the front line right in the middle of the fight, so the numbers show up faster than what Southville can expect. They even got the Yours to control a bar. So Mayo might be able to Cogs push him away to give the space. Actually doesn't fully block the high gun, misses the hook shot. The dodge from both of the heroes on Lilgun. You lose the Nyx Assassin. Here comes the medic across the map as well from Enryu. So Abar continuing to get back to safety. The Aegis still as well It's going to tick out in 30 seconds, so he's got some time on this. I actually got a blink in
Burns.
above the madman. South built. They're all just built to mad people. Sancty's going to get chased down now here as well. He's got the run buff, so they will not be able to continue on for more.
Well, it was a good thing Enryu was in that position to be able to get the heal off onto a Bart. When you're on the high ground, you're feeling a lot safer to be able to, try and make those turnaround plays happen. And ends up netting him a kill at the cost of the Aegis. It was about to expire anyway, but yeah, I feel like that's totally different if Enryu is just staying in this mid lane. It was probably only 3-4 Nether Blasts onto the tower, and it goes down. And with the cooldowns that they had, probably should have happened already. In trouble here, ends up pump faking that Nether Blast, so he's not going to get hit by the Carapace. And now you've got the Siege Creep as well. So looking to try and take away a bit more of that map control away from this anti-mage in particular. Bob?
Radiant's middle
Hello.
tower has fallen.
That is so much damage just from Hishki's Nyx Assassin. 4 points mana burn, like a Vendetta Impale mana burn. Did 2/3 of Bob's HP.
Mm-hmm. That's all you need. And he's going to be building into intelligence as well. He went that early Witchblade, yes, somewhat for the teamfight control, but also so you can scale into the later stages of the game. And you can see he's even got the day code queued up already, so
Radiant's
the
bottom
amount
tower
of
is
damage
under
that you can
attack.
deal out on this Nyx Assassin.
Radiant. They're
Dire
stalking
are
Bob.
scanning.
I don't think he's gonna be too worried about the anti-mage. They're actually even got a TP and a Bart here, but Radiant fully prepared to be able to protect the anti. I'll move in a Bart completely out of mana now, has to pop the rage to get the backline with the rebuttal. Samael controlling up Ace 12, but can he dive on forward and dropping the Supernova? It's a bit of a defensive one, not on the front line. That's a massive mana void. Brings down 2. Now they catch out another though. Bob jaunts away. No follow-up there. But what a mana void from 1, 2, 3. He's continuing to get really farmed on this anti-mage.
It was a great mana void just to get the kill in general, but more importantly, the hero that he was able to get it onto, the Oracle. Hadn't quite used the False Promise yet. Still had the Fortune's End, and when you're going up against this Venomancer, you just need to be constantly purging off all the debuffs that are going to be laying in onto you. The Venomous Gale, you've got the Fiery Spirits as well. Excuse me, that you're concerned about, so very nice target prioritization coming out from AM.
Gold and sweet.
See that he's got to go BKB next item actually for 1, 2, 3. So he feels that he has to get a little bit more active earlier on in this game. Would you agree?
I think it's okay. He's going to Sange first, huh? I didn't go for the full S and Y after picking up that Manta style. I suppose considering you've got the Phoenix, it's going to be nice for you in the laning stage. He's even still holding onto the Possessed Mask in his backpack. I wonder if he's going to change that around now that he's got this lifesteal amp that can come through to him. And you were just talking about the BKBs. Change back to the Skadi.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Dire.
Double down.
They're grouping up themselves around the bottom side of the map. Looking at bait, they actually get some vision on Ace, and a Bart instantly pounces. It's not going to give any opportunity for the reinforcements to come through.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I like it. He's played very aggressive on a Bart, but he's playing aggressive with his team. Nicely done as well to make sure that that range creep stays alive. No backdoor protection is going to kick in.
Bob, he's going to get caught. Phase, blink. Very good question. Is he? He's not. He's such a nuisance.
Radiant are scanning.
Bottom side of the map is South built now. Got a lane push again that you're going to have to deal with, so they can even start to make a play towards this top side. Is that Ags finished on the clockwork? Yes, it is.
Wow. It's a lot of control now to help lock down the anti-mage. I like the build here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
I mean, that's one reason to make the Oracle go into the urn, right? Like, it's already good because of the False Promise. A lot of Oracles just hold a few salves for being able to get that guaranteed heal off during it, but urn acts just as well. They get the Nyx.
Samael Finds the Phoenix as well. There's the overclocking
Bouncing
coming
it
to
back and
play.
forth.
Cogs bounce back and forth. Even see the Conquer. Got to retreat away the safety thanks to the 4-star from his Venomancer. They lose 2 on Lilgun.
This just looks so different, you know, playing with a Bart compared to with Marb. There, it feels like the chemistry is there. It feels like the aggression is there. It feels like his map movements are a little bit more around what the priority actually is at that time.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Even having the trust in his team to be able to use that Blink Dagger to dive underneath the tier 2 tower, expecting that someone was going to be there to defend it. He's rewarded with his level 20 so far, so more Fury Swipes damage. He's looking to start to brawl very soon. As soon as they finish up that BKB on a Bart, that's going to be, again, where they're going to go for the full team fight converge on South Build.
Yeah, and you see that he's still doing very well in the farm as well. Only about, what, he's 14,000 net worth compared to the 15,000. So, you know, keeping up right now with the anti-mage, considering AM did go into that, you know, farming steroid, of course, with the Battle Fury, and Bart wanted the flavor of the month, like you brought up, kind of the Diffusal Blade build, which can allow him to get a little bit more active. But, you know, the fact that he's doing this well in farm is very, very nice to see for a Bart.
Yeah, they're getting all of this lockdown in onto the puck, but I'm not sure how good it's going to be.
Oh. Now he doesn't have mana for the
Zenki
fight, but
nearby.
guess what? He's got a regen. Manavoy going to do a lot of damage, but still in trouble. Zenki, false promise if need be. Bob's going to get back to safety, but now with the Carapace stun after the coil breaks,
close.
means that Bob's in trouble. They're going to use the false promise for himself. 1, 2, 3. Blinking on forward. They're doing a great job to kite the Ursa meanwhile, so Lilgun can just deal with the rest of the targets and not have to worry about the Fuzzy Bear locking them and bringing them down, as Bob this time will finally fall. I say that, he's making it work for it. Please kill him. No.
He's still got the regen root as well.
He can't pop it because the poison
2, 3,
sting.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, he runs back in him. Face shift blinks up
It's
soon.
ticking up.
How?
I thought he might have used it during that
And he's
false
going
promise
back
just to be able to stay
in.
there.
He's actually going back in a bar. He's got some stacks up in the attack speed. He's going to be able to get the supernova. And they're in fighting condition now. They can go back in with the respawns. 1, 2, 3. Blinks away. They're a bit disconnected.
Might have enabled them to Roche as well. You know, they've got the Conquer out of money. You just saw the supernova get popped. Poison Nova was used previously. And you've got an Ursa. Why not? Just go straight on into it with that. You got a BKB. You had to use it to be able to secure that kill onto the Phoenix, but I think you're still in a really nice position to be able to take that Roche. The scan comes from Lilgun. They expect this is probably what they should be doing. A little slow still from South Build to make that reaction happen as they find Hishki.
No mana for a bar, which is someone who, maybe it doesn't even matter if he gets a bashed like that. He's committed
Not
on
without the rest of your team.
a bit deep. He's got some backup. Samael, great jump in forward. Finds a Nyx Assassin. The backline as well. Anti-Mage has been coiled, but there's no follow-up at the moment. Bob has got another round of the Waning Rift if the Ursa wants to commit on. They would not. But into the Roche Pit they go. Radiant, how can you mount a defense here? You got to get some way to get in and out. Supernova on cooldown for another 40 seconds. You've got the Poison Nova. The AM is nearby too, but Roshan slowly getting brought down here. The Fury Swipes are stacking up, and Lilgun, they're going to have to go soon. Getting set up is Plague Wards, but still got to keep in mind that die. They've got the numbers advantage. Bart's even going to pop the BKB, but the Aegis on the deck. 1, 2, 3. He snatches the Aegis, but can he get back up with his life? He was actually standing his ground. They'll force away Zenki. It's such an important target to be able to bring down the Oracle, but the Anti-Mage can't do it on his lonesome self at the moment. E-Blade Silence onto 2. They're kiting him out. Zenki will keep his life, and meanwhile, South Build Bob's going to get caught. Finally, the slippery puck will lose his life. And let's see what Lilgun can do to finish the fight here. 1, 2, 3 with that stolen Aegis. He's going to have the control. Now, but he did pick up the cheese from that Roche. It's going to buy that coming through. Zenki in the area. They'll target towards the Oracle. Zenki's going to fall. Sanctity as well, getting very low from the life train. Enru, he'll blink on. He's even got the Glimmer Cape as well to be able to protect the Ursa if need be. He's actually going to use it on himself instead, but Radiant, they've got detection. Samael might have to cost his life here just for the team to get away, and that he will. Even pops the overclocking, but there is no mana available, so Clockwork will fall. A very big fight for Lilgun.
At least they're able to get a Bard away. You know, they're cutting their losses pretty hard, but the core, the one that's going to be able to stand and man fight this anti-mage as he continues to farm 1, 2, 3. Now he has the luxury of that Aegis as well, so we can look to see him perhaps be a little bit deeper on the map, still staying somewhat connected with the rest of his team. But these towers, they're being pressured. So many creeps as well, goddamn.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And this is the other advantage of playing with the Kunkka, not only having that strong laning phase against the puck, but also able to just use the X marks on a teammate, bring Hishki back to base, TPs, comes back with full mana.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on
That
board.
was also a buyback on what do we got? Just the Clockwork. Yeah, so that's why he's down for a long duration here. We've got a bit of a break in the action, trying to take a look at any fresh talents. Conker just hit the level 20, so Torrent AoE. Bob's getting stalked. Is he gonna get the stun? He does. Follow up, Mana Burn. Oh, they'll bring him down. The damage with this Mana Burn, it's so much.
Doing real well, and now just as they're about to start sieging these high grounds, what do we got? Nearly on the Nyx Assassin, 700 gold away from that Aghanim Scepter, which she could just place right outside the tower range. Make sure that if any attempt gets put onto 1, 2, 3 as he's trying to siege, that's going to be very easy to turn around onto him.
Smoked up, and Ryu. They're gonna run into Hishki though. What positioning from the Nyx Assassin? They're caught off to the side. You can hear the overclocking. Samael, he's trying to hold Sanctity in place. Boat's gonna fire. He's got the Sunray bonus health as well with Spider Legs. Sanctity's gonna be able to get back away from the aggressive maneuver from the Ursa, but now he's gonna get caught out. Shock, some distance, but once again, they got the exit control. Bob finally has to buy back to hold them in, but the coil's only on one. He'll get the burst, the lockdown's there. Bob got to short away, but Bob needs some help and he needs it now. Waning Rift, extra mobility, phase shift gonna come back up in a couple of seconds here. But a full set of racks is being claimed for Lilgun. As now they're looking for Enryu, who's very, very deep himself. This is where we saw Bob got caught out previously, and Enryu?
Radiant are scanning.
The creep.
Don't walk next to the creep.
Oh, oh my.
Oh. He's fine.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, they're going all in onto being able to burst down. Honestly, it seems like it's going to depend on who's on, somewhat low HP. Who has a Bard been able to hit a couple of times? Because that's a Dagon now on the Pugna. You've obviously got the Decrepify. Dagon... No Dagon yet, actually. It's the E-Blade that he opted to go for instead on Bob. And, well, now's the time to buy out, because you already used your buyback and you're holding on to 3,300 gold here on this Pugna.
Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no.
Ishki's hunting.
They got the Yules. Phase shift still on cooldown. Torrent follow-up. Where's the stun? Bring a Bob. He just bought back previously. Blink away. Orb as well. The mana burn. Bob, 110 seconds on the deck. He's done it all for them so far this game. But now getting caught out twice in a row is going to put South Built in a tricky position.
How are they going to be able to withstand against it? The jungle is not the place to be right now. If you're Lilgun, you just got to try and make stuff happen on the enemy side of the map. 1, 2, 3. He's got the right idea. He takes the T1 tower, but Tier 2 also available. But the Glyph's available again as the Aegis is reclaimed. Just getting more kills. Is that just purely supports?
Yeah, that was Hishki's Aghanims. Was a really cute play from him. They didn't know he had the Ag, so he was hiding out in the mid lane, just popped out, got the Impale stun. It lasted a really long time. Blink in, Bart just says goodbye, Phoenix.
Picking up that level 25 as well. It's going to be real important with that Basher. It could come down to luck for South Built to be able to come back into this one now that they're sitting at a 5k net worth deficit. It was very big spike looking at the win probability, going more in favor of Lilgun as a result of that Roche fight in particular. It seems like that Aegis statch has really been the deciding factor of how aggressive they've been able to play. It's caused Bob to lose his life a couple of times to try and commit in onto this anti-mage, but hasn't been going in their favor. Nearly level 25. Speaking of those on the anti-mage as well.
And
I wonder what you go. Like, both of these level 25 talents are pretty good this game. Like, Mana Void, of course, for the damage, being able to quickly take down the Pugna, the Oracle, the Puck, but they've got a lot of magic resist now. Basically, the Ursa is the only one dealing any kind of right-click damage, so
that's
you're
a
gonna be able to
very
have
good
that,
question. Like, I'm actually trying
20% plus.
This is a game where it's like, I need 30. I need, like, they are some incredible talents for this game. Like, because you've gone this real heavy burst with the Dagon, with the E-Blade on Dire. So, but then you take a look as well, like, that means you really want to be using Mana Void a lot because of the heroes that on South Build have. I'm honestly really intrigued which one he wants to choose.
It might be a case of, like, you're not going to get it until the result of the next team fight anyway. So it just depends if they've been able to pick someone off, or, you know, if they're doing a 5v5 engagement where you might need to play a little bit more defensively. Maybe the fact that he doesn't have this Aegis anymore is going to weigh on his mind a little bit.
Do you see game's going to be back underway here. Dire 2 down, no buybacks on the heroes that have fallen.
Dire's bottom
Thank you,
tower
Tidebringer
is
just
under attack.
obliterating creep waves at this point.
A bar? Gonna blink in BKB instantly, but Hishki's taking minimal damage at best. And now that's a bar, it's BKB completely wasted.
Dire's bottom tower.
I mean, you had to make a kind of Hail Mary play there with the Puck still on with his death timer for 30 seconds, but
Oh,
they're able to
Zemke.
catch out the Pugna.
He needs the false promise. Abar will finally be able to get the kill, but the Mana Void's out. A lot of damage on Enryu. They even drop with the poison over 2. Abar back to safety of the fountain. 1, 2, 3. He's thinking about making sure that's actually not a safe haven place. So they get the kill on Enryu. It is Oscar Hishki falling that's going to look to buy back here and rejoin them. Same with the Phoenix as well. Actually went back to base here. So they're going to be a little bit far away, but they are even smoking up just to get closer. The last set of barracks exposed and South built. They need to mount a defense here. How are they going to be able to do so? Blink in, the chain controls are going to be there. Coil dropped as well, locking the anti-mage. Another use of the cogs to bash the bash. A bar locking 1, 2, 3, but he's able to blink away. Now with the supernova sunray, the damage, it's ripping them apart. Yours up in the air, the X going to pop. Same timing, Skirts gets brought down to the low ground. A bar, he can't win this man fight. He's going to fall, no buyback, and they call it quits. Lilgun, they're going to take game 1 here. A beautiful performance from them.
Radiant victory.
1, 2, 3, ending with a beyond godlike streak, 11, 1, and 9. And well, it's kind of fitting. It did happen exactly as we were expecting. You know, they had that last-ditch effort on South built there to try and make the comeback into the game. With that final creep wave right before they were able to take the racks, that was enough to hit him up onto his level 25. He hits it. He chooses the counter spell. So even though they use absolutely everything onto him, he had 65% magic resist, and it was way too much for the Ursa to do purely on his own. Even though the lockdown, the push around, the cogs, they snapped the coil, it wasn't enough.
Man, what a game. What a game. These two bottom teams, 7th and 8th place, but they still give us an incredible way to start the day here for the Loop Vet Pro Series. We saw Bob's Puck just making plays in the early game was such a nuisance here for Lilgun, but that fight, you highlighted it, the Aegis snatch from 1, 2, 3 completely turned it around. They did so much with that advantage, and Lilgun did not look back from that Roche fight, taking game 1 here and heading into the second game with a little bit of momentum against the bottom team. So we'll see if Lilgun can continue with that and take a 2-0 victory, or if Southbuild are finally going to be able to take their first map of the Pro Series round robin. We'll send it to a break. Game 2 coming up shortly.